To delete an item from the Firestore, let's go to the list items that we're rendering in our list. Let's add a new button of delete me. And we want to give this button an on-click handler. And when it clicks, we want to call the collection of suggestions, which is where our information is stored. And we want to get a document to delete. The problem is that we don't know what the name of each document is. So we need to set up a way to reference each individual document. If we go onto the Firestore database, each document has a randomly generated name, but we don't know what that name is. So let's refactor the way that we add new data to the list. In handle submit, we're referencing the suggestions collection, and we're using the add method to store the name of the suggestion. The add method randomly generates a new document name. To change this, let's reference a document and set that reference to new suggestion. So we're going to add data in two steps. First, we're going to create an empty document. And we're going to set it to a variable of new suggestion. Then immediately afterwards, we're going to set the data on that new suggestion that we just created. And the reason that we do this in two steps is because now we have access to this new suggestion variable. So we can save the name with titlename.value like we did last time, but we can also create a new key of ID and set new suggestion.id, which is the name of the document, the randomly generated name that we see in the Firebase store. Let's save that. Now we're referencing document name in our onClick handler. That doesn't exist yet. So let's comment the entire onClick handler out. Now let's add a new suggestion. And if we go to the Firebase store, we'll see that our new suggestion has both a name and an ID. And the ID matches the name of that document here. To be able to use that new ID in our application, let's pull the entire document from Firebase rather than just the name. So now, when the component finishes mounting, Firebase goes to the suggestions collection and finds all of the suggestions, pulling the entire object of data and storing it in state. If we save our changes, the app throws an error. And the reason it throws an error is because now we have an object in state. When we render it, we're trying to render the entire object. That's not going to work. We have to render the name. So now it's exactly the same as it was before the refactor. The difference is that we have the name and the ID that we can render. Now you see it renders the ID of the last list item that we saved. Change that back. Let's render the name, but let's use the ID in the onClick handler. And let's save that. So if we click on New Suggestion and delete it, it disappears. But if we try and delete one that doesn't have an ID property, it's going to throw an error. So let's refresh our app to get rid of the error and make sure that the delete button only shows up if that topic has an ID. So let's take topic ID, and if topic ID returns true, as in if it exists, then render the button. Let's save our app. Now all the delete buttons have disappeared because none of these items have IDs associated with them. We created them in earlier lessons. Creating a new item, gives us a delete button, and then we can use that to delete it.